Hey everybody, 860 Cologne here with another video. This time it's not a review, but part of a new series I hope to have on my channel about fragrance myths, where I explore different myths and try to give reasons why I think they are true or not. Stay tuned at the end where you can find out how to help out with this process and maybe be a part of it. So here's our first myth.
Myth number 1. Tester bottles contain a better or more concentrated version of the fragrance that you are buying.
Some people believe that the fragrance companies purposefully put better juice in the testers to lure you in and then sell you an inferior product.
Origins.
Exactly where, when, or how this got started, I don't know, but there's a lot of mistrust and conspiracy theories when it comes to fragrance and how they're made and sold. So I can see how this one might be easy to believe if you look at things superficially. Basically, when you get home and spray the new bottle you just bought, sometimes it smells a little different, so naturally some people jump to the conclusion that these money-grubbing bastards switched the juice on me to make more money.
Analysis.
Looking deeper, I think you will find that it's not cost-effective at all to have different juice in the tester bottle than in the live product. A manufacturer would have to have a separate run of the product to create the tester bottle juice and then separate those items and distribute them amongst all their stores. And while the cost of a separate run might not be as expensive as I think, the main reason for this myth being untrue is this. A company sells a fragrance to make money. And at a typical first-run retailer like Macy's, Dillard's, Neiman Marcus, JCPenney, Saks, and so on, there is a return policy, where if you are unhappy with your purchase, you can get your money back or at the least get a store credit. That's part of what you get for paying full price at these stores. And it is at these stores that the fragrance companies make the majority of their money. And it would be financially unwise for a company to try and trick the people that buy this fragrance into almost a bait and switch kind of situation. Another big reason I think this myth is false is because, believe it or not, the vendors do not always send a tester bottle when they send new product. It happens far, far too often, and it drives us crazy. How do they expect us to sell a new fragrance without giving the customer a chance to smell it? So, what we do as sales associates is open up a bottle of live product and make that into a tester, where the manufacturer or the vendor will eat that cost, just so we can have a tester for the customer to use. So there is no way the tester juice can be different from the live product in this case.
Reasons the myth might gain ground.
The tester bottles sometimes look different from the live product. They have to, so they are not mistaken for live product at the store for inventory and other reasons. Over time, bottles change, and just because the new product looks different doesn't mean the retailer is going to swap out the bottle on the counter for you to smell. Sometimes a tester bottle will sit on a counter for literally years. And while most stores don't have direct sunlight hitting a fragrance counter, there is something to say about the fragrance changing over time. And there have been a few times where I was sniffing at a counter out of town or somewhere, and I had to inform the SA that the tester had turned or gone bad. One time it was a bottle of Amen, and I was showing to a friend of mine who was shopping with me, and luckily there was a rep from Clarins there that is the distribution company for Thierry Mugler, and she sniffed it, and sure enough, it had gone bad. She threw it away and put a new one out there. There are also reformulations. We hear a lot of talk about reformulations on base notes, on YouTube, everywhere, and it does exist. To the extent that we hype it up to be, I'm not quite sure, but there was a time I went to a different store in my area, and they had the Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme tester out, but it was the tester that had the sticker on, and on the back of the bottle it had made in Italy. which I have been told is the original production. Now, there is also a display bottle just like that sitting next to the newer bottle that has it kind of like drawn or etched on for the pour homme, the Dolce & Gabbana. I sniffed that one, and I didn't have a tester to sniff of the current juice, but it was interesting that some companies just don't know that that bottle that they have is not quite as recent as they think it might be. And then what I think may be the biggest culprit of propagating this myth: kiosks. Now, I'm not saying that all of these businesses operate with less than a scrupulous business tactic, but I have seen firsthand the trickery that can go on at some of these places, and I can totally see a tester here being put across as a real product, and then possibly the item that you buy is a fake. So in this case, the tester might need to be stronger, and indeed might be stronger than the bottle you buy. And most of these places don't have a good return policy after you open the bottle. Another reason this might get some legs is buyer's remorse. I think it's easier for us to believe that we have been duped or had rather than to realize that there might be subtle differences in our home environment than at the store, or our nose is in a different place than when it was when we first smelled the fragrance. Also, if you're a newbie and don't understand the concept of top, middle, and bottom notes, this may confuse you. With some fragrances, what you smell out of the bottle may change drastically over the next 30 minutes to an hour, and that may make you think there is something rotten in fragrance land.
Conclusion.
Other than a bad discounter who is trying to sell you a fake, or a bad mistake by a store, this one is busted. I think you can tell it wouldn't be wise for a fragrance manufacturer to try and fool a customer and use what is essentially a bait and switch to sell their frags. And although some untrustworthy stores might try this, or some stores may unknowingly have this happen, the myth that manufacturers do this is just not true. Now, this will hopefully be an ongoing series, and with some myths, it will be next to impossible to have definitive answers, so please, if you have any comments or arguments, let me know about them, and if you have any other myths you'd like to explore, any questions about fragrance that you haven't been able to find answers for in the past, comment down below, and you may see a video done about it. And as always, comment, like, and subscribe down below, and I will talk to you soon.